Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody today on this awesome Thursday? How you all doing? I'm super duper 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 excited. Tonight we have Network to Net Worth Real Estate Edition. We are coming to give you tons of great information. So if you have any questions, feel free to post them because we want to know your thoughts. We want to know what problems you're having. We want to know any and everything dealing with real estate. We have a super duper awesome panel for you. And so before we get started, I always like to introduce myself. My name is Tay Lee, and I'm the founder of Never Go Broke. Never Go Broke is a financial literacy company. We give our clients financial blueprints, financial education, financial guidance, workshops, games, and so much more so that they can build generational wealth and not generational debt. So I hope you're all excited. Are you excited? I'm excited. I'm super duper 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 excited. I love some real estate, y'all. So so get ready, get ready, get ready. Before we move on, go ahead and do any watch party you want to do. Share it, tell a friend, call them up and say, hey, you know what? Network to Network Real Estate Edition is tonight. You have to jump on to get all of this good, great information. So we'll give you a couple of seconds. Okay, so tonight we have an awesome panel. Our panel is Brandon Brooks with Brooks Realty. We have Abra Barnes with Barnes and Associates, and we have Lisa Blackman with Blackman and Blackman. So we're about to pull them on so you all can get to know them. Hey y'all!
Hey, Tay.
Are y'all excited?
Yes.
You not feel the love in the air?
It's floating all over the room.
Yes. So y'all, this is our awesome panel. When I do Network to Net Worth, you know we have to come with the best. Okay, we can't half step and bring somebody in that may or may not know. No, we bring in the best in the game. This is what they do. You hear me? This is what they do, and they love it, and they can give you everything. So we have the broker, the investor, and the lawyer. Isn't that a great combination?
It is.
Yes. So I'm going to let everybody introduce themselves. Just tell them who you are, what you do, and your experience. So we will start with the guy since he's the only guy. So go ahead, Brandon Brooks.
Hello, everybody. My name is Brandon Brooks. I am a real estate investor. I've been doing real estate now since 2008, so 12 years. Born and raised right here in Birmingham, Alabama. As you can see behind me, went to school at the University of Alabama. Came out of school. My aspirations goal was to be a financial advisor for professional athletes. Did that for a while, but once I got a taste of real estate, I had a change of plan and change of heart, and so now I'm full-time in real estate.
All right, go ahead, Abra.
Hi, my name is Abra Barnes. I am the broker of Barnes and Associates Realtors. We're actually the largest real estate firm, Black-owned and operated real estate firm in the state of Alabama. I have about 55 agents that's on my team. I've been in real estate for 19 years now as an agent, as a broker, an investor, and a real estate instructor. So I'm happy to be here.
Oh, Lord, she got so much money. Just let me borrow $10. I'm just so crazy. Oh, Lord, 55 agents. Oh, Lord, if they just, and then just one. Oh, Lord. Just, can I borrow $10 forever? I'm just saying forever. Oh, Lord, look at that. Okay. Lisa, let them know who you are.
Absolutely. I don't want to borrow $10. I want to have 10 million. Can you just slide me that check on over? How about all of that? I'm not trying to borrow. I just want you to just pass it on. So, but thanks so much. I appreciate you, Tay, for having me as a part of this awesome panel. I'm Lisa Blackman, aka Lisa B, the Life Changer. I'm a Birmingham attorney here. I've been practicing law about 22 years, been in the area of real estate specifically since 2003. And I'm also, I'm an investor as well. So we definitely believe in walking the walk instead of just, doing the real estate part where we handle the legal sections of it. We also are an investor because we have realized just in being in the company of people like Abra and our other broker and our other investor that real estate is one of those things that helps to build generational wealth, which I know is one of the foundational principles of what you do. So when we began to really see other people doing it and growing that way, we said, hey, let's take a lesson or take a page from what they're doing. So we do that as well. And so we coach even in that area as well. So again, I'm Lisa B, Lisa Blackman, and I'm happy to be here on the panel with this great group of people that you already have assembled.
Yes. So since we have a variety, I'm going to ask some questions. Some people can answer all of them, and then some people can not. It just really depends if you know or not. So whoever wants to answer can answer. So my first thing is, so Abra, you are a broker. If somebody wanted to come and actually be an agent, what would that process be for them?
Well, it has changed a lot for me. It used to be where if someone had their real estate license and they wanted to join the firm, we just like, come on, we get you in. But now we've been a little bit more selective on who we take in. So when we at Barnes and Associates, when we take on new agents, we let them know what our culture is about, and our culture is based off of faith and community. So with us, you have to be able to give back to the community. That's important. And you're not going to just be there doing it for the money. You got to do it because you really believe in helping people. So what I do is I let people know about our culture, and we do an interview, and just to try to see how serious they are about real estate. So it's an interview process that might take a couple of days.
Okay. But I guess if somebody wanted to become an agent.
If they want to become an agent, okay, my apologies. So we also have a real estate school. And if you don't go to Barnes School of Real Estate, there are other schools that are available in the city. To get your real estate license, you have to take a 60-hour pre-license course. When you take that 60-hour pre-license course, you have to take a test to get out of that school. And then if you take that test to get out of that school, then you have to go and sit for a state test. In order to pass that state test, you have to make at least a 70. And you also have to pass a background check. And so as long as you haven't been in any serious trouble dealing with moral turpitude, then you should be able to get your license and have a high school GED. So that's something else you have to have.
Okay. All right. So if you want to become an agent, no, that is what you need to do it. Okay. 60 hours, pass with a 70, pass with another 70, pass a background check, and then do what you got to do from there. Because I have my license. I originally started out in my real estate license. So yeah. So that's why I'm like, yeah. Because people always ask, well, how did you actually become an investor? I was like, well, I went and got my license first. I just wanted my license, see how I went, see what I wanted to do, and then I progressed from there. Everybody has a different journey, but that's how I did it. And people always ask about that. So I was like, let me ask that question. Okay, so this is a question. This may be hard to answer. And it may be more of a lawyer question. So if somebody goes and they get a tax lien property, and that tax lien property has a mortgage on it, but they pay the taxes on it, who gets the first right to the property?
Okay, so one of the things I always advise the client is this: before you decide that you're going to get involved in a tax sale and just start buying the properties, due diligence is always important. That means do a title search. That way it'll tell you what exactly is going on with the property, because if there's a mortgage on the property, it's not a free and clear property just because you went and bought a tax deed or got a tax certificate. There's a process that you have to go through. Whoever the mortgage company is, they are still in first position. You simply have an interest in the property. However, there is a way for you to get clear title, which is fee simple, so it's only in your name. You have to go through the process of quieting the title, which is a civil action. It's like a lawsuit that you file against any parties that might have an interest in the property. So I tell people all the time, don't think it's yours just because you have a tax certificate or a tax deed, which, of course, that's two different things.
Okay. So to piggyback off that question, if they bought it and they knew the mortgage was on there, they have to still do quiet title through the mortgage company, or does the mortgage company still have higher rights than them?
Whoever is vested in title, whoever has the interest, is always vested first. The only way that they are removed is if there is a lien release that is filed, or again, the quiet title. Now they can try to reach out to the mortgage company and see if they can negotiate something, if that company will talk to them. But because it wasn't their mortgage, you have all those privacy issues that come in where they don't necessarily want to talk to you. And if it's somebody that's already passed that had that mortgage, you're gonna have to get into all the things regarding estates, or having to have an administration and things like that, because again of the privacy laws. So that mortgage company is going to be still in first position until either a lien release is put there or a quiet title action has ensued and you've had success with it.
Okay, good answer. Somebody asked me that. I was like, I don't know. But I will ask. I will ask and see who knows the answer. So yes, thank you so much for that. Another question is, when you're first starting out in real estate, when you become an investor, what do you suggest would be the best way to buy? Go through an agent, do it yourself, tax lien, wholesale? Like, what do you feel like would be the best way? Anybody can answer.
Well, I guess I answered since I hadn't talked yet. I don't think it's, okay, let me get clarity on your question. Are you saying if you're just like a brand new person in real estate, never bought a property before?
Never bought a property before.
Okay, so I would, in my opinion, I would suggest that they get, seek help from a professional, i.e. a real estate agent, because that person can just kind of guide them, help them find properties, give them information regarding the areas that they're searching those properties in, like comps, recent sales, what they think those properties will appraise for, after repair values, things of that nature. So even speaking from experience, so when I first got started, that's what I did. I sought out agents, and they kind of steered me in the purchasing and the searching process of properties until I got comfortable enough and enough experience where I can kind of go out and know what I'm looking for after that. But I think initially, I think it's wise to seek that counsel from a licensed professional, i.e. a real estate agent.
Okay. Anybody else want to add to it?
I felt like he did the best. He said the best thing he could have said. Get with the real estate agent. But I was going to piggyback on where Attorney Blackman said, and she gives great information on that, because everybody doesn't totally understand the process with tax certificate and tax deeds, because they think they just automatically own this property. And it's scary when people think that way. And one of the other tricks that we've done in addition to that, when somebody's had tax property, sometimes we just go ahead and find the person that has the mortgage on the property and try to give them a little something to say, look, go ahead and sell me your interest in the property and buy it out for them if possible. And then so you already got your interest through the taxes, and now you can take care of the mortgage as well.
Okay, good answer. Good answer. My first one was the tax lien.
Oh, that's good.
My first one was a tax lien.
And look how far you come.
My first one was a tax lien. I was like, because I didn't know. I was like, well, I'm about to just go buy this house. They said I can get it on taxes. So I was like, I'll figure it out later. Then I bought some more, and I bought some apartments on it, and it had a $500,000 mortgage, $20,000 water lien, had all that good stuff on it.
So what did you do?
Quiet title.
Mm-hmm.
Quiet title, because it was nothing else. Whoever had it had so much stuff. I just went through quiet title. It took about 1.5 years. So when it comes to tax liens, it's like, do you have the time to wait?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you want to flip it. Mm-hmm. If you don't have the time to wait, then you shouldn't get it, because you ain't gonna really be able to sell it like that. People sell them, which that's a whole nother thing, but taxes, yeah. So yeah, that's how I did. I went through quiet title. It took about 1.5 years. We were able to get everything off. It was a lot of people on it, but all of them released everything, so it was fine.
So did you get an attorney to assist you with that?
Oh yeah, I ain't got time to be playing. Somebody was like, you can do it yourself. I was like, I ain't got time for that.
Right.
I'm gonna pay for this, and I'm gonna get somebody to do it. Because by the time I sat here and got mad at myself for 8 months later, I could just pay somebody, and they would have got it done. I feel like when it comes to certain stuff, real estate and business, you need to spend the money, get a professional to do it, and get it over with. Because by the time you sit there and really try to figure it out, you may can do it yourself. Not saying you can't, but it's a whole long. I don't know. If you have the money to spend, go ahead and get a professional to help you and guide you along the way.
Hey, Tay, did you see that question from one of the guests?
Yeah, somebody said, what's quiet title?
Yeah, correct. She got quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's quiet title.
So do you want to answer that?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay. So it's quiet as in hush. Quiet title. So I apologize if I said it incorrectly, because a lot of times they'll call it quad title, quick title, all types of things, but it's quiet. And so basically what that means is anyone who had an interest in the property, whether it's an individual, if it's a company, meaning like a mortgage company, if it's the tax assessors, if it's a municipality, anybody that has an interest with any type of lien on the property, you're going to go through the process in the courts, asking the court to tell them that they don't have an interest anymore. They don't have a say in the property anymore. So you're telling everybody else, be quiet, because I want to have the sole interest in the property. So that's it in layman's terms. I hope that clarifies things for you.
Thank you. It really did. It really did. So let me ask another question. Somebody has another question. It's about to come on the screen. What kind of legal action can you take against the contractors that are paid for work that wasn't completed or done incorrectly?
Is that on me again? You got this broker that does investors, and this investor, and I'm sure y'all seen these kind of situations as well. So as far as legal action is concerned, I don't start with legal action. The first thing I do is I send a letter asking them to honor the contract. Honor the contract, do what you said you were going to do. So that's basically putting me back in the position I would have been in had you done the work correctly. If they don't do that, then I go to the next levels, because you make sure that you have people that are licensed and bonded. You go to whoever their agencies are, and then I believe, what is it, the Builders Association or something like that? You can start filing types of complaints and things like that if they don't respond to you. And if you don't get any kind of justice at that point or reciprocity for the situation, then you're going to go in and you're going to file an action in court at that point. But what you want to make sure of is, if you're going to file an action, make sure you have all of your receipts, you have your records, you've taken, I tell people, if you're going to go to these sites, make sure you're watching what's going on, because sometimes you have people, they really don't mean you any good. You have some people that are shysters that are out there. So again, piggybacking on what was said earlier, make sure you get an expert. So even when you get ready to buy these properties or have work done on them, make sure you have somebody that's on your team that can be watching for you. So if there are missteps, they can catch them then and help you in this process. So should you need to go to court, that's your final thing that you're going to do as far as filing. And so that's going to either be district court or circuit court, depending on how much money is involved in that. Okay.
Anybody want to add to it?
That's it. Well said.
She's like, well said.
I just go fight.
See, y'all are getting good information, something that you never knew. Another question that was asked. So when you're buying a property from somebody, and you may not necessarily be going through an agent, you may be going through, well, not an agent. You can have an agent, but it may be somebody that's just selling their house and you reached out to them. What kind of deed? What's the difference between the deeds? So what's the difference between like the quit claim deed and the other deed? Like, is it a deed that you need to look out for more than others when you come to buying your property you want to stay in, investment properties, all of that?
so to speak, different types of deeds. And so I would say this, if you've approached somebody about buying property, if you're going to get a deed, I'm going back to the due diligence piece again. Make sure you get a title search. Have a title search done. Invest that $300 or $350 in the search to make sure, first of all, that person owns the property. People can say all day, oh, that's my mama's house. Well, it's your mama's house, but it's your sister and the cousin and the auntie's house as well, because of all the laws of intestate succession. A lot of things go on behind the scene that you don't know about until you see it in writing. I tell people, if it's not in writing, it didn't happen. So you want to make sure you get a title search done, first of all, to find out whether or not they own the property. And then regarding the different types of deeds, specific to your question, a quit claim deed, that's QUIT, quit claim deed is going to be where they're only saying, I'm giving you whatever interest I have. That doesn't mean there aren't any liens. That doesn't mean there aren't any judgments. So, but if it's a warranty deed, it's just like you get your home warranty or your warranty on your vehicle. It's saying there's nothing there. This is yours. I'm guaranteeing complete, clear title. Nobody else should have an interest in it. So you want to make sure you understand what kind of deed that particular person can convey, but you also want to make sure that you have that title search done so that what they said to you is actually true when you look at the deed. So I'm going to go ahead and piggyback on that and say that means you call Blackman and Blackman so we can review your title for you to make sure as to who actually owns the property. And that's it.
Okay, so many people want to be investors. They just really want to be investors. So if somebody has the money, they're ready to get started, what would you tell them to do? Like, what would you suggest to them? Because everybody's an investor. So what would be something you would suggest to them, like, when it comes to them getting started and going from there? Brandon, Abra.
So what out if they got, so let me get clarity to your question again. So they have money to invest?
Yeah, so they're ready to invest. They have the money, but they're ready to invest. Like, what do they do next? Like, what would be your suggestion in order to do it?
So I guess for me, it would be, because it's so, real estate is so broad. Even being an investor, that's kind of a broad term. They need to kind of figure out exactly what area of real estate they want to be in. Meaning, you can be an investor who wants to have rental property. I want to generate some passive income for myself. Or you can say, I want to be an investor. I want to flip houses. I want to be an investor that only gives, partners with people or other people who are in the business and only invest money to get a return on my money on a monthly basis. So I think the first step would be to determine what area or what type of investor you want to be, because that's the only way you're gonna have any type of direction. A lot of people have the money but they don't have the guidance or the direction on which way they want to go to become an investor. So I just had a conversation with a young lady yesterday morning. Similar thing. She has the money, understands she wants to be in real estate, but don't know how or what form of investor she wants to be. And so that would be my first thing, is to determine what type of investor you want to be. Some people don't want to have nothing to do with the property. I don't want to see the property. I don't want to talk to no tenants. I don't want to go do no construction. I just want to be able to give you $100,000. You bring me back X amount of dollars in return. And some people like myself who wants to get their hands dirty. I want to actually go buy the material. I want to go walk the project every day. Or I want to deal with tenants. It's just, you have to determine what type of investor you want to be. And from there, then you can seek the right counsel, the right guidance on who's an expert or who's done those type of that form of real estate, and then they can kind of guide you from there.
Okay, so we have another question. That was really good info. Know which kind of investor you want to be. Okay? Don't just be out here all willy-nilly. Know what you want to do. Okay, so question is, when beginning the process of investing in real estate, is it best to utilize your own funds or seek good debt? Abra, you want to answer that?
So going back also, it kind of ties into what Brandon was talking about. Deciding what type of investment you want to do. And then also deciding what type of investment you want to do also depends on how much money you have to play with. So if somebody came to me and they said they had $5,000 or $10,000 to use, I already know you're not about to be able to flip properties. You know, you're not about to have a rental property because you're going to have to buy the property and fix it up. So as far as using your own funds or seeking good debt, I think it all depends on the actual project itself. When you have projects of a certain amount, I mean, let's say below 50,000, a lot of times with investment properties, a lot of banks or hard money lenders or whoever might not want to finance things under 50,000, depending on, and then if it's based on how much you're paying for the property and how much you're putting into renovations. So then you might have people that might do properties that's 20,000, 30,000, but of course you got to think about, you might be putting down a larger down payment or have a higher interest rate, or it might balloon fast. So you got to weigh all those options. If it's a fix and flip, if it's something like he said for rental property, it just depends. On properties that might be at a higher price point, it might be best to go ahead and get a loan on it versus using all the cash that you have. So I personally, when I'm doing something of a certain price point, I'm always going to go get a loan so I can keep my money working for me, you know. And of course, sometimes you can borrow against your own money. So I say we have to just look at your project.
Good. That is great. So the first one that I brought that was on the tax lien, I had all the money because I was like, I'm going to use all my money and I'm going to use all the rest of the money I got to get it fixed. But an investor said, man, you better go get a line of credit. Don't use your money. You think you got this house and it's the best house in the world, but what if don't nobody come rent it? Or what if it don't sell? You have no more cash. So I went on to the bank and got a line of credit, got a renter in, and I was able to pay the line of credit off in like a year and a half. I was like, turn, and I still got my cash.
I wanted to say something about that though too. We just recently had a situation in my office where someone bought a tax property, and they tell you just because you pay back taxes, that does not give you the right to possess the property, okay? That does not automatically give you the right to move in. And we recently had a client that moved into the property, spent over $25,000 doing repairs to the property, and the county just called her back and said, we actually did this property in error, and that the people were not behind on their taxes, and that she has to give the property back. So this is what they had already disclosed to her. Don't move in. Don't make any major repairs. But because a lot of investors do that, she went on and felt she was safe. So now she has to give this property back. So you have to be mindful. I've also had investors that not realizing the difference between having a general warranty deed, a tax certificate, and tax deed, not knowing the difference, and they invest a lot of money in them and want to flip them automatically, not knowing you don't really have ownership, you do have interest. So be mindful, like she said, get a title search, and also make sure you consult a professional. I saw a question popped up about how do you get a title search, and I tell people, just call a title company. You can Google title companies, or if you get with a real estate agent or a closing attorney, a real estate attorney, they can give you some recommendations on a title company for a full title search. Some people say just go to the courthouse, but sometimes when you just go to the courthouse, it's not going to give you everything that you would really get on a title search. That's a little bit more in depth.
Okay, and let me piggyback off that. So I went through a title company, did a title search, but the city didn't record the water lien. That's how it was like $10,000 in water lien. So make sure whoever you get for the title company, they go all the way through. They do the city, they do the county, they do everybody. Because if not, you will have a $10,000 water lien that you didn't know about that you got to get rid of. So that's just make sure they do everything. Because some title companies say, well, we didn't close on the property, so we didn't do the extra steps that it took. So just make sure they're doing everything. Because I've made a lot of mistakes, so I had to get them on out there so people can know what not to do. But make sure y'all do that. We have another question. Lisa, do you do title searches? Or if you have questions concerning title issues, Do you do title searches, and if so, do you work with people, basically?
So we don't actually do the searches, but we have affiliates, companies that we trust that we've been doing business with for lots of years. What I mean by that, 15 years or more. We trust them to do the work for us, and then it's important to make sure that whenever you have a title search done, that's one of the reasons I say, call us in those instances, because it's important for us to be able to really look at your title to make sure that you're not missing anything, because there'll be liens and judgments and things that are hidden. And if you don't know how to properly read the title, you will miss some of those things. So that's super important. And that's one of the things that we try to teach our clients. Listen, if you don't know what you're doing, stay in your lane, hire a professional. That's what this whole panel is about, making sure that your mama would say, don't get no bought sense. You don't have to. You don't have to get bought sense in this particular case. You just call your investor, call your broker, call your attorney, call these people and ask them to be on your team. And if you cannot afford for those people to be on your team, then what you need to do is this: go get that little change, then come back and call them, because it's going to cost. That's just the way it is. No, just be serious. This is an investment. If you really want to learn about doing these things, you want to become better. We're talking about building generational wealth. We're talking about not being in this place of being broke. We have to get past that mindset of poverty, that whole mindset of not having enough. Where there's a will, there's a way. We pay for what we want. And that's just the truth all day long. We find a way to make it happen. So you need to find a way to make sure that you can get good professionals on your team, so that you don't have to make the same rookie mistakes that many of us have made. Tay, you already mentioned that as well. You don't have to go through that. Why trudge through the mud when you can walk on the street? You don't have to do it.
All right, so we got some more questions. Ooh, that question real open-ended. What's the best type of investment for beginners? Flips, rentals, etc. What has the quickest return with the least amount of liability? That's like, what color the fish is in the sea? Because there's so many of them. Oh, who wants to answer that one?
I answer that. What's the best type of investment for beginners? I don't think that's not a right or wrong answer. I think that's all preference, and what you're, again, back to what I first said about knowing what your goal is, what type of investment you're looking to make. So it's not I started with, just because I started buying rentals don't mean the next person that's how they need to start. So it's all about what your goals, what you're looking to get out of real estate when you decide to start doing real estate. And as far as I think she's asked the most you can get with the least liability. If that in real estate is not, there are rarely $100, $300, $400 problems in real estate. So it's a risk, and it is a costly risk involved in real estate. So I would tell people all the time, like, getting in this business, if you don't have disposable income that you can, like I think one of y'all mentioned, tying up thousands of dollars, potentially not necessarily losing it, because you can lose a lot of money in real estate. You got to be making a lot of bad decisions, but it can happen. Like you said, if you have any guidance, but there's very few problems in situation in real estate where it only costs you hundreds of dollars. It's typically thousands of dollars involved, whether it's purchases, rehabs, like you say, even going to title searching, just getting involved in real estate. There are some substantial costs associated with it, and so I don't think there's a least liability in real estate. I think they all can be pretty risky. Just again, depends on the property, the amount of property you're looking to buy, what type of rehab has to be done. So I don't think that's a
straightforward thing.
Yeah, because it's so subject. It's a case by case basis, basically.
Right. All right, we ready for the next question. When purchasing a rental property, are there advantages to purchasing an LLC versus an individual?
Let me answer that again.
You go ahead.
Okay.
We can't hear you, Brandon.
I think I'm on muted.
Okay, there you
There you
go.
go. Okay. Um, I said the panelists, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm going to. I would think because I have LLC as well, but you know the biggest difference between LLC and buying in your personal name is simply is just the LLC is a pass through, so it kind of protects you from your personal assets versus what's in your business. Outside of that, it's not much difference because you know again, if it's a single member LLC, it's just a pass through. So from tax purposes, it's about the same. But the biggest thing is the legal liability that you can protect yourself by buying an LLC versus in your personal name. Um, and again, it also that goes back to how aggressive or how much involved you want to be in real estate. Because when I bought my first property, it was in my personal name, not knowing I was going to grow to what I was going to become today. But once I realized this is the trajectory I was going to go into, and I was going to become a serious investor and not just doing it as a hobby, but make this a profession, then I had to flip things over and become, you know, open up a business and just protect myself a little bit better. So if you may be just buying one property, it may be to your advantage to buy in your personal name because there's a lot more lending opportunities for people that buy in their personal name, as we was talking about earlier, meaning use other people's money. You know, banks and mortgage companies can mortgage a property in your personal name that they can't do. You can't get a traditional mortgage in a business name. So and certain banks may require you to have your LLC to be open a certain amount of time or have done a certain amount of business. So again, it just goes back to how aggressive or how much involved you want to be in real estate. If you're just buying one house, it may be to your advantage to buy it in your own name if you're just buying that one house. So again, that to me, that question is relative to each individual as well on how involved they're going to be in this business when they decide to get into it. Yeah.
Anybody want to add to it?
Add to that, yeah.
Good. Okay. All right, we're ready for the next question. What types of loans are available? How do we go about getting them?
Ava.
Okay. You have traditional loans that you can go to a bank and get. So when you're doing units, let's say you're doing a multifamily unit, 4 units or less, you can actually get what we call a FHA loan on those, especially if you live in one of the units. So people do that. And then you have regular conventional loans and portfolio loans that you can get from a bank for investment properties. And then some people like to go through what they call hard money lenders. And hard money lenders, they might not look at your income and your credit like the bank will. They look at the actual project as a whole in order to give you financing. And so you have hard money lenders, and then you just have investment groups that look for projects to invest in. So I would say, get with a realtor, ask them different options. And also, if you're going to be a serial investor, join some of these groups. There's a lot of Facebook groups where you can learn a lot of information, but you're going to get good info and bad info. So you have to kind of weed through it. But I always say when you start getting into something like this, grab you a mentor. Get somebody like Brandon that does it already and let them help teach you the ropes. Just like Attorney Blackman said, what she said something about you don't have to pay for this knowledge, you know, somebody's already been through it, you know. I would say grab a mentor or somebody that really knows what they're doing so you don't have to complete the same mistakes that they did.
Good answer. Good answer. I like it. I like it. Do we have another question? If you don't have any income, can you still become an investor?
I let Brandon answer that.
That's a trick question, man. Yes, you can.
If you have,
you can. Now you gotta be creative. You gotta have some connections because just be transparent. I bought my first house out of college, no job, no income, and very little money. So it can happen. But I had good credit and I had a vision. And so what I mean by that is I sought out people that I know are in real estate, like Abra said, got with mentors and things of that nature, because now this is 12 years ago, but there were companies out there, like Abra said, hard money lenders that would loan. I didn't have no job, so they didn't look at my income. I didn't have no money, but I had good credit. And they just looked at my credit, and they looked at the property that I was looking to buy and said, I'm willing to take a chance with you with this property, because I know in their minds, they're saying, if this doesn't work out for you, I'm gonna take this property from it, and I got a good investment. And so so the answer, I went a long way. Yes, you can, but again, you gotta have a vision. You need to have some type of again credit, where when these people put their faith in you to give you this money without no income and no recourse, that they're gonna say, well, who have you? Let me look and see who you've shown to be proven to pay back, other than so I can trust you with my money to pay me back, right? And then, like I said, you got to have a vision. You got to have a vision. You got to be able to find those properties that those investors are willing to gamble with you on, knowing that if it doesn't work out for you, they're going to have a good property that they can go in and renovate or sell or rent out, or whatever the case may be. But they got the property at a deep discount or a huge value. So I hope I answered that question.
That was a great answer. So you know what basically he's saying, if you ain't got no money and no income, you need to have some credit. So
First, yeah,
you need to have some credit and a vision. You gotta have some credit. Credit. Because credit matters. What has been your most valuable lesson learned in dealing with real estate? What has been your most valuable lesson learned in dealing with real estate? You want me to tell you mine?
I can answer.
Don't buy nothing mad.
You said don't buy what?
Don't buy nothing mad. If you mad when you buy something, just take a while, take a break, and then think about it. Because I bought a house like that too. I was like, I'm gonna buy this house because I was mad. I just got somebody just to give me this inspection. And Lord.
What made you buy a house because you were mad?
That's a whole nother day. That's a whole nother day. But yeah, just don't rush into anything. That's my most valuable lesson. Don't rush into it. Just take your time and see if it's really for you. Because sometimes you'll rush into something that looks good just because it's cheap. And cheap doesn't mean good. Cheap doesn't mean flippable. Cheap doesn't mean runnable. So think about that before you do it. Just kind of be a little bit more patient with the process. And if it's for you, then it'll still be there. But just to jump into something because everybody said it's good doesn't mean it's good. You bought a house for $4,000, but you stuck with this $4,000 house forever because don't nobody want it. You to put the renovations and the money into it, nobody wants it. So just think about that. That was mine. Next.
One of the best decisions I could do in my real estate investing, especially when it comes to me investing in commercial real estate, having a CPA, having an accountant. I had to learn that the hard way. It's great for us to let our friends do our taxes, but when you get ready to level up and buy commercial property or do larger deals, you're gonna have to have an accountant. I had to learn a very costly lesson by not having that. So I think one of the best things I can tell anybody, get your finances in order, and make sure you are keeping financials. That's very important.
Lisa?
I would say probably the most valuable lesson that I've learned in real estate is that you need to be passionate about this thing. That means that when you're passionate, you're going to be persistent and consistent with it. It's going to have some highs, some lows, some ebbs, and some flows. But if it's something that you have a passion about, that's that thing that you're going to stick with, even if it means you have to, like Ava was mentioning, when you up level, you're adding people to your team, you're doing that because you have a vision for your business. You have a vision for legacy being established. So I would definitely say be passionate about the real estate. It doesn't mean that, like Brandon said, he likes to get in there and do all the work. No, you can have the delegation or the spirit of delegation, but be passionate about growing that as a stream of income. I'm a firm believer in having at least 7 streams of income, because if one dries up, you still have some more flowing. Because at the end of the day, I'm going back to what you've been teaching and preaching. We don't want to ever be broke, so we don't want to put all our eggs in one basket. So even with the real estate, looking at various ways that we can get income even from that, whether it's flipping, the passive income, whether or not we're investing with somebody else in commercial or even in the residential. So look at the different ways you can invest in the real estate. But again, have a vision for it, be passionate about it, and just go at that thing. And when you feel like you don't have passion, you need to surround yourself with other people that are still excited about it, because sometimes we need a little burst of energy sometimes, because life happens. Tell the whole truth, life happens, and we need some encouragement. So your circle matters, even in real estate, because that's your other business. So look at your circle. So
Brandon. Hold on, Brandon. We can't hear you.
Okay, I think I'm unmuted now. Most valuable lesson. I don't know. I learned so many lessons, man. Valuable. I would say this. I think that I would call this a valuable lesson. I would just say for me, it was, you gotta in real estate, you gotta do what's best for you or what works for you. What I mean by that is, a lot of people look at me or even look at Abra or Tay, and they think because it did the way I got into this business, or what the aspect of real estate I'm doing works for me, they try to replicate that. But then, like Lisa said, that may not be their passion. So my thing, I've always been, I look at other investors, and I listen to them. I learn from them, but I don't always run just because I saw this person has became extremely successful in real estate, try to duplicate them or replicate. I just do what I do, what's been working for me, and I use things from their success to make me better. But yeah, I think a lot of mistakes sometimes people do is they chasing the money and not, like Lisa said, the passion. And because it worked for that investor, don't mean it's gonna work for you the same way if you don't have the same level of passion, the desire, the drive to do what they did. So I would just say work your lane, do what's best for you. That's what I learned.
yes.
I love it. Yes. I love it. 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 So what's the next question? We all here for it. We are all here for it. What's your opinion on wholesaling houses? Everybody smiling. Who want to answer?
I answer that then. I'm curious, and I would love to have a chat to know why we all laughed when that was the answer. I'm sure we're thinking the same thing. But what was the question? What's our opinion on I'm gonna keep that short and sweet. If you can make the deal happen, do it. Like Lisa said, that is a form of real estate investing. That is a avenue in real estate that that's very live and active. So I'm short and sweet. My opinion on it: if you can make the deal happen, do it.
Cool. Cool. Short and sweet. If you can make it happen, make it happen. I think everybody has different experiences with wholesaling. So
right. And I think even back to what I just said about knowing your lane, because that was like a fad. I ain't gonna say a fad, but that was a thing for a lot of years. You see all these signs on the posts. We buy houses fast. We buy houses cash. All these on these posts through East Lake and Ends and all these places, and so that was like a very competitive thing because people was hearing about on HGTV and all these places where they was buying these and flipping these houses, and I didn't use my own money, and so that became a fad. But again, they was looking at how it was working for these people out of state and hearing all these success stories, but it may not have worked. It may not work for you the same kind of way. But again, I would just say, but if you can make a deal happen in wholesaling, do it, because it's a way to make money in this business. But if you can do it, do it.
I agree with Brandon. I mean, I say it because I've had good and bad experiences.
Right.
And I put my realtor hat on it. As a realtor, we have to be honest with our clients and work with integrity and let people know the true value of their houses. So as a realtor, if you come to me and tell me you want to sell your property, if your house is worth 100,000, I need to tell you your house is worth 100,000, and I want to get you at least $100,000 for your house. But if I was just a wholesaler and not as a realtor, most wholesalers are not going to tell this person that their house is worth 100,000. It's going to be more so, hey, let me give you 50,000 for your house, and hope that they don't realize the true value of their house. So, but of course, there are times when people just want to get off their property and they don't care what they make. So they could work with the wholesaler, and sometimes they don't realize they're losing tens of thousands of dollars by working with the wholesaler. But it works good for investors. But as a realtor, sometimes when protecting our clients is not the best thing.
Gotcha. So somebody asked, what is the best way to find off-market deals for multifamily properties?
Off-market deals. Yeah, I don't. Y'all correct me wrong. I don't think there's a best way because there's so many ways. I mean, you could simply be riding and just see abandoned properties, and then you go back and, like Lisa said, do research it, figure out who owns the property by going to the tax assessor's website and doing some digging and mailing out letters. So it's not really a best way because there's so many ways to find deals that are not necessarily listed. I think what they're referring to is off market, meaning not on the MLS and not listed.
Right.
It's not really one best way because there's so many ways to find those properties. So I don't really.
Can y'all list 3?
So I gave one. I let the other 2 panelists give one, but like I said, one to be again, you see abandoned property, you pass by it several times, and you realize or let's say several months rather, no activity, no life has been there. Simply go to the tax assessor's website, see if it's somebody's paying the taxes on it, see whose name's on the taxes, who owns it, and you can mail. Again, if there's an address listed for that owner, you can mail them a letter or try to reach out to them and see if they respond. So that's one way. I'll let the other 2 panelists give it.
I'll list another one. Option number 2. If you know of a real estate agent that specializes in multifamily, then sometimes that agent might get properties in their inventory and they'll know of them before they actually hit the market. So building a relationship with the agent that specializes in multifamily and letting them know what you're looking for, so sometimes they can get them to you before they actually hit the market.
Well, that's 2 for y'all.
Okay.
2 ways.
Lisa, you got another one?
I do not my lane. I'm on the realtor.
That's right.
I get the expert.
Off-market things.
I get the expert.
Off-market items.
Well, those are 2 ways for you to find off-market deals, and that goes for multifamily and for houses, right? It could be either or, multifamily or houses. So y'all is 7:58, and we are finishing up the Q&A session. Any other questions that were not answered, we'll go through them and just try to, give you some answers. Sorry for the questions that did not get up there, but y'all learned some valuable information tonight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all can say a lot of stuff about me. You hear me? You can say a lot, but you can't say I don't give y'all no valuable information. Yeah. So we try to bring stuff to you for you to live and learn and grow. And so real estate this time was awesome. We're going to wrap it up because we have the pitch contest next. Y'all ready for the pitch contest? I am so ready for the pitch contest. So give us a couple of minutes. We're going to get our pitch contestants situated, and then we will start with them. Thank you all so much for tuning in. See you in about 2-3 minutes. Hello. I am back. Taylor with Never Go Broke. We are about to get this pitch contest started. Are y'all ready? Are y'all ready? Are y'all ready? I am so ready. So we're going to bring up the first contestant. His name is Johnny Lyam with Lyam Enterprises, LLC.
Awesome. Thank you for the introduction. As she mentioned, I'm Johnny Lynham, owner of Lynham Enterprises and Operation Invest, which is our education and capital raising arm of Lynham Enterprises. Um, at Operation Invest, our mission is to help 1,000 people become financially free and grow generational wealth through real estate. I've been in the military about 15 years, Air Force, and have a myriad of experience from acquisition, support, management, and joint operations. And so my goal with starting the company was to find a synergy between the military and then the real estate investing that we've been doing since 2010 timeframe. So a little bit over 10 years experience, coupled with the military experience and kind of bringing in those processes, those best systems that we have and how we manage large tasks, large projects, and bring that into the real estate investing space. And so with that, on the education teaching side, we work through marketing, deal analysis, financing, renovation, relationships management is a big piece, property management and team building. So not just providing the information, hey, how do you find a rental property or how do I become a real estate investor? But no kidding, bring in the foundational information, then leverage the resources, the relationships that we've been able to build with building our portfolio over the years and bring in the financing. One of the largest hurdles to a lot of investors is financing. And so that's one of the biggest things with how do you present yourself? How do you get your credit straight? How do you put everything together where a lender will approve your loan? Or how do you partner with the right people in order to get your loan across the table and get that first project? And partnership. And I think one of the biggest things with real estate is it's a team sport. You have so many disciplines and so many experts that you have to depend on in order to be successful. And that's one of the things that we like to bring to the table. And one of the things looking into 2021, coming on board with having more mastermind or accountability small groups in order to foster individual success and then just the overall community. On the investing side, we target value add apartment projects located in major service areas throughout the U.S., primarily in the Southeast, depending on what if they meet our economic and job growth requirements. Right now, North Carolina, Huntsville, Panama City, Florida, where I'm currently located, is kind of the markets that we target right now. But with that, we partner with professionals, doctors, lawyers, engineers, IT professionals, and those people who are busy and looking to diversify their portfolio into alternative assets. And with us and with real estate, that for us, that's apartment buildings. And we give our investors a 8% cash on cash return, and we target a 15 to 20% internal rate of return. And and that's kind of the goal. And that's one of the things with real estate. You can have investor, retire comfortably with just having 8 units paid off in 10, 15 years, or you could go and want to be an investor that has 1,000 units. And so it's just however much you want to put into it. We have an environment that can foster that, whatever your goal is, and help people grow and kind of evolve that into whatever it is they choose to be. And so that's kind of the gist of what we do with Operation Invest.
Thank you so much, Johnny. We are going to bring the panelists on so they can ask you any additional questions.
Cool.
Anybody got any additional questions for her? Go ahead, Lisa.
Okay, so I heard you say that you have background with the military and you have about 10 years doing this thing called real estate. So I wanted to find out, can you tell me specifically who is your real target audience? I heard you talk about who you actually partner with, and you said something about people that want to invest, but what does that ideal client look like?
Our ideal client, really our avatar that we kind of primarily work with is our IT professional engineers. One of my partners, his wife is a doctor, so we've worked in the past with doctors and attorneys. But really, those type of people. We work 50, 60 hours a week as an engineer, IT professional. You don't have the time to dig in on investments or to be hands on with the investments. So that's one of the things that we've been able to do for myself, partner with my wife as a side hustle, as a business, and kind of grown now where we just hired our acquisition manager in the Panama City market and looking to do the same here in Northern Virginia. And just target people who's looking for alternative assets, looking for alternative investments to get off the roller coaster of the stock market, and looking to get secure returns. So really, anybody. We don't have a specific individual, that's looking, but a lot of times it's those busy professionals that kind of lean on us. That's looking for alternative investments and accredited investors. But we also work with non-accredited investors.
So they already have some money to work with, in essence.
Right.
Okay.
They do.
All right. And then one other question I wanted to ask, where do you see your business maybe a year to 18 months from now based on where you are?
Our goal going into 2021 is to purchase 2 multifamilies. Right now, we're targeting between 20 to 50 doors, primarily North Carolina, Huntsville market, as I mentioned earlier, and expanding our network with brokers to look at other areas that have the right economic indicators that we like. Future job growth over the next decade kind of is the plan to look at growing. But those are kind of the goals. And then I think for the education side, for those investors that are looking to get started, looking to bring a mastermind, small group type concept to provide education from the foundational stuff. Hey, what's the return on investment? All the way, hey, what's the capital stake when you start looking at equity and investor capital when you start looking at apartment buildings and things like that.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you so much, Jenny. We are done with you for now. We are going to bring Leisha up so she can give us some information about her business.
Hello, I'm Alicia, the owner and operator of AAA Tailored Investments LLC. I mentor and provide new and seasoned real estate investors on tools to help them create lucrative income, get generational wealth, and just assist with the survival of today and the future. Um, During these times of uncertainty, we all are focusing on getting several streams of income, and my program can show you how to create not just income but profits that can be measured after 2 or 3 years with the span of long-term wealth. I was forced into the different streams of income after I was overcome with a chronic illness that made me unable to continue my career as an employee with the federal government. But while I was working at the federal government, I did realize that there was a opportunity of social services that I needed to expand on. So after researching, I realized that real estate could help that with shelter. And with that, I actually kept going into real estate more and delved and found my niche, which was buying properties behind in taxes, i.e., tax liens. And after doing it for several years, I actually provided myself with a lucrative stream of income, which also provided homes for families, helped revitalize the community, and generated monies for the State Department of Education. I actually started aggressively in 2017, and up until the present date, I have purchased and assisted over 50 other investors around the world with purchasing interest in over 200 properties from the state of Alabama. These purchases have saved families from being homeless, given other families a place to call home, give some neighborhoods an uplift, and have raised the property value of the neighboring houses up to 8%. With these actions, my program has created yearly profits averaging $60,000 a year after a 3-year period. Even though those results may vary, it depends on the value of the house. My strategic plan can bring that amount plus more. Please visit my website at AAA tailoredinvest.com to learn more, and we can start our journey of investing together. And you too can make over $60,000 a year after about 3 years.
All right, thank you,
Thank you.
Alicia, so much. Thank you so much. We are going to bring the judges back. We're going to ask one question. Who wants to ask the one question?
To the store.
So, Alicia, you serve as a consultant for other people. So you buy investment properties yourself, and you serve as a consultant to assist people in buying commercial, tax properties. You said that some of your clients make $60,000 a year. That's on multiple properties, right? Not one, right?
After about 3 years, once they've actually paid, they've gotten their money back. The rent that they get after about 3 years is the actual profit. That's why I said after 3 years, because the first part of the 3 years, you might break even, but you won't really see a profit. But it could be on multiple properties. It just depends on the value of the house. And just like I said, it actually varies.
All right. Well, thank y'all so much. We are going to take about a 3 to 5 minute break. Well, no, I can just talk to y'all. They're going to go in the background and judge. They're going to go in the background and judge. So tonight, you have asked a lot of questions about real estate. I hope that you all got valuable information that you did not know before. And then you also got to hear from 2 different pitch contestants that actually have their own real estate company. So between the 2 pitches, who do you feel like should win? Between the 2. Go ahead and post them in the comments because I want to know. I want to know. I want to know. Today has been a great day. Learning. And so give us about 2 minutes. We'll be back with the winner. Hello. I'm back. So the judges have gotten back with us. So we are picking a winner. Drum roll, please. The winner is Alicia.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yay! Alicia Taylor is the winner of the pitch contest. Are you excited?
I am. I'm trying not to cry.
Where your happy arms at?
Huh?
Give me your happy.
Excited,
Give me your happy. Excited, baby. You must be excited. Okay, let me tell you what you're gonna win. Are you ready?
Lord. Yeah.
All right, so you get to pick between the panel. You get to give a session with them, so you get to pick whichever one it is. We'll talk about it later. You don't have to tell us now. And then you win $500 cash money.
Okay.
You better be happy, girl. Most people make $500 in a week. You better be happy. Stop acting like that. Stop acting like that. Somebody asked, "What's your website again?"
www.taylordinvest.com.
That is her website. There she goes. I want to thank all of the panelists because they're so dope, masters and everything. Make sure y'all follow them, share them, buy from them, use their services, do all of that. And then with the 2 pitch contestants, make sure you reach out to them because they can possibly help you in whatever market you're looking for too. Y'all better come out here and get this knowledge. Know that it's possible. Know that it can happen. All right? All right? You heard me, right? If I ain't never told you nothing, I told you that. So once again, I thank you all. We thank you all for tuning in tonight for Never Go Broke, Networth to Networth Real Estate Edition. We hope to see you for the next one. You know we do this every other month. So for everything you got tonight, I can only imagine what you're going to get next time. So be ready. Once again, my name is Tay Lee with Never Go Broke. Be sure to reach out to us. It's www.nevergobroke.money. Once again, that's www.nevergobroke.money. You can reach us on all social media outlets. Me personally, I am Tay Lee. The biz is Never Go Broke, INC. We're going to give you all this knowledge day by day, hour by hour, so we can all build generational wealth. Bye, y'all. See you next time. Bye. Bye.